I love sharing my stories from the road, acquired knowledge. And this is one such story that I have very rarely shared. Very few people close to me have heard this story. But today I just thought it was time that I actually brought it out into the open. 1992, I was leading a group of Germans, 20 plus, through Himachal and Ladakh. It was an Icarus group. And Icarus group in those days, it tend to be very serious travelers. I mean, Germans in early 90s were very serious travelers. No offense to any of my friends in Germany, but they did not know how to laugh. They did not know how to smile. The group was mostly repeat travelers to India. They had already been to India once before, some with studiosis, which tells you that they were really serious. And to a large extent, they thought they knew what they were doing. And I thought I had a plan in my hand. At least I thought so. And the plan for the particular day when the story takes place was nearly perfect on paper. Depart Dharamshala at 7 a.m., stop for breakfast at 8, back on the road by 9, reach Pathankot by 10:30, arrive in Amritsar for lunch, probably a late lunch. It was on paper, simple, scripted, and foolproof. In India, foolproof plans are the universe's invitation to be creative. On the way, as we started, our bus broke down near Nurpur. This is close to a town where it shouldn't have been a problem. But first we couldn't find a mechanic. And then when we did find a mechanic, we couldn't find the part. And by the time we are done with everything and the bus is moving again, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, we would probably miss a lunch. It's fine, it's still manageable. There's still plenty of time for us to get to Amritsar. And then we get into Pathankot. There's a religious procession being taken out. It is all gridlock. And we are stuck. This traffic swallowed up 2 whole hours. Now I need you to understand something about 1992 in Punjab. This was the height of militancy period. Day travel was perfectly safe, but come 5 o'clock in the evening, people and vehicles disappeared from the roads. The shops closed, streets were empty. The highway between cities became completely different place once the clock struck 5. By the time we got back on the highway, after the jam, we were the only big vehicle on the road. Our buses are built in such a way that we have a driver's seat, then a cabin, and then the first seat is where you as a trip leader sit. So I was standing there and watching the road, watching the time, lost in my own thoughts, and we enter Gurdaspur. And just about as we were entering Gurdaspur, I saw these people, small group of men along the roadside, dragging their charpoys, those beds that they have with the jute rope, dragging them. And they're being dragged towards the road kind of to block the traffic and to act as a check post. And of course our bus was flagged. We had to stop. A young lad, 17, 18, he jumped onto the bus. He looked at me, he looked at the people, he looked at the group, and then he turned back to his people and he yelled, "Ete gore ne, ki karna hai?" What he meant was, these are foreigners, what do you want to do with them? The reply came back, surprised me. The guy on the other end, and this guy was like, 6.5 feet tall. A very gentle voice, he said, "Jaan de yara, let them go, friend." And then while he said it, he just walked to the bus. And he got in the bus and he asked me a question. "Have you ever seen an AK-47? And of course I said, no, I'd never seen one. And he was carrying this in his hand. And he just lifted it and, just put it down on my forehead like this. Just rolled it down. And then he asked me a question. "Got any whiskey?" We had some in the group, so we took out a bottle, we gave it to him, and he turned back and he said, "Let them go." While he was getting off, I just asked him a question. I don't know what happened in my head. I just asked him a question. I said, "Would there be other checkpoints like this as we continue?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Would they also let us pass like you did?" He says, "Don't know, don't care." And I said, "Then would it be possible for you to send somebody with us who can get us through the next checkposts?" And he said, "Sure. Just give him 500 rupees, he'll get down before Verka." And that same young man, 17 years old, was holding the silver pistol in his hand, boarded the bus and got into the driver's cabin. From all the way from Gurdaspur to Rarka, every single checkpoint that came, he would just stick his head out and shout, "Staff bus hai ji, jaan de, this is a staff bus, let it go. Staff bus, staff bus, staff bus." And we got through every checkpoint. They just waved us through, they let us go, they didn't stop us. And just before Varka, he asked the driver to stop. He came to me. I paid him the 500, and he got off the bus. And just like that, he was gone. Just as we were entering Amritsar, I could see that there was this police check post, and I could see people from our hotel. We were staying at the Ritz Hotel. People from the hotel standing there, but nobody had the guts to come look for us. Nobody had the nerve to drive that road after 5 o'clock. Well, eventually we did get to the hotel. I checked the group in. Everyone went to their rooms. I asked them a question: when did they want their dinner? And for the first and the last time in my entire career, I heard a German group say they did not want to have dinner. They didn't want to have a dinner they had paid for. I watched 20 Germans skip a meal. In 35 years, I've never seen a German miss something that they've actually paid for. But that night they missed the dinner. This is how quiet that bus was. I was 22 years old. I had the lives of 20 people in my hands. And somewhere between Gurdaspur and Amritsar, a 17-year-old with a pistol and a good heart got us home. As I said then, and I've been saying ever since, India has never stopped surprising me. Not once since I started working.